fine.
Let's build, what you got, Bob?
Wow, we've got 108 people here. This is fabulous. You know, you do these things and you worry maybe nobody will show up. So I'm glad that so many of you are here, and you can scroll through the pages and see your friends, and it'll be just almost like being in the Hearing Center lobby soon, where you can walk through there and see all your friends. So we are glad so many people are here. It is 10 o'clock. So we will go ahead and mute everybody.
I don't know if they can hear me or not.
Okay, I went ahead and muted everyone so that we wouldn't have lots of extra background noise going on in case your phone rings or the dog barks or something like that. Jessica, I think, is recording. And Jessica, if you could help us spotlight the speakers, that would be great. I can only operate so many buttons at a time here. But we are glad so many people have come to join us for our town hall to kick off the fall semester. It certainly doesn't feel like fall yet, but we are thinking about fall, and our fall brochure, when we finish this town hall, will be on the website for you to start looking through and thinking about your plans for OLLI courses this fall. So you're going to hear more about that as we go on. As I mentioned, we are recording this, so if you have friends who weren't able to come, this will be up on our YouTube site later today. I'll put the link in the OLLI notes today so that people can find it. And if you have questions, just like we've done all year, please put those in the chat. And Bob McGrath and I will answer those at the end of the program. So we love to hear what you're thinking and what maybe we haven't covered in the meeting. So please let us know your questions as they come up. Just put those in the chat and we'll answer them at the end. So now I would like to turn this over to Bob McGrath, who is council president for the 2021-22 year. And we are thrilled to have him with us this year as president, and with us today to let you know a little bit about what's going on. Thanks, Bob.
Well, thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. It's been quite a year, and I hope everybody's having a great summer. It seems like today was a little bit overcast from all that fire smoke, but at least it's clearing up, to say the least. Nancy has asked me to kind of give an recap and maybe an overview of what's occurred in the last year or so. So what I thought I'd do is kind of start with, what we've seen in the last year. Starting with 2020, 2020 running into 2021 was quite a challenging year, to say the least, as we all know. And even though it was challenging, it really put a perspective and a different challenge that OLLI had to overcome. And in doing that, it required innovation and change. And what I mean by innovation and change is that with the impossible or not being possible to have in-person classes, moving to what we call Zoom classes, and eventually, as you know, and we'll talk about a little bit later, the hybrid class in home and Zoom, has created that change that came about. So the whole OLLI team had to really, think different, think outside the box, and make things even better. So, like we talked about, it was a course in teaching migration, which I want to just kind of cover and give you some ideas of what's occurred and what's about to occur and what's in the process. So in the winter, we had 57 Zoom classes along with 18 bonus events. So those are all Zoom that occurred. As that migration occurred in the spring, it became 51 Zoom classes, 14 bonus events, and 4 in-person bonus events, and 6 Zoom bonus events. So as you can see, the movement is going as the change in the climate environment and such, we're moving more towards the hybrid and in-person. In summer, there were 7 in-person classes for the first time, 8 Zoom, and 4 hybrid. So as you can see, that migration is moving in at such a speed that's going to give us an opportunity to make the course in the structure even better for OLLI. And what I mean by structure, I mean the type of classes and the number of classes at the same time. So when I was looking at this and thinking, how can you describe this change and what's coming about? And 3 words came to mind. It may sound funny, but the ones that came to my mind is come on back. In other words, come on back to OLLI, come on back to Furman. Everything is come on back. And you'll see some of that with the new events as being posted. And when I say events, new classes being posted in today's brochure. So when you see today's brochure, you're going to see about 95 classes, total of 95 classes. Of that, 68 are in person. So that migration continues and brings us back to where we were all comfortable beforehand. 16 Zoom, the people who feel comfortable. And this is the benefit of Zoom, is that not only do we have instructors who can teach from outside the area, but also people who would like to take it without having to come in and make that drive or in that event of coming in. And then 11 hybrid. So the idea of both Zoom and in-person continues, and that movement towards being even better and offering an even better course structure continues in the fall. So when I said, come on back, it's not only come on back to the Herring Center, but also it's really back to the Book Nook. It's reconnect with friends. It's in-person classes that we've talked about. It's the in-person lunch and learn. And you know, Furman is now planning and moving towards normal operations, which means all the things that we did beforehand, it's walking, the food courts, the ability to go to sporting events, all brings us back to somewhat normal or near normal, unless something changes. So looks like it's going to be a fantastic year. It's going to be a great year for us to come back together and enjoy each other and enjoy learning at the same time. A note that you will see is that the membership fee has changed from $50 to $65, which includes the fee for parking and also for expenses which are increasing at the same time. So again, everything is coming together. We look forward to that. We thank our instructors. We thank everybody. And we think it's going to be a great year as always. So Nancy, I'll turn it over to you. Or back to you.
Thanks, Bob. And, you know, as he said, we have seen things change over time. Before the pandemic, I call that the before times, people would say, you know, we should offer virtual classes. And we'd think, well, would anybody come? And do we know how? And would that be hard? And we found it wasn't that hard. And so I think we will always, even when the pandemic is long in our rearview mirror, we'll always have some Zoom classes, because now we know we can. And we know that there are people who came to OLLI this year via Zoom who can't get to us in our own building. And so it's a way for us to bring OLLI to more people. We've had people tell us that, you know, they live a good bit away from Furman and they like coming to classes, but there have been times when they didn't take a certain class because they didn't want to drive to Furman 3 days in a row from so far further away in Greenville County. And so maybe they would come to Furman one day and take a Zoom class one day. And so I think it just will help us reach more people and make OLLI even more accessible to everyone. But so thrilled that we can welcome so many people back to campus, to the lobby. It's been awfully quiet over here, and we just can't wait to see you all here with us. So as Bob mentioned, things are heading back to whatever normal is. Furman is looking forward to what my boss, the provost, calls a nearly normal fall. So we are excited about that. Nearly normal means campus is open to visitors. Students are having classes the old way, not spread out. Right now, the plan is that after August 1st, there's no mask requirement on campus, regardless of vaccination status. So there are lots of plans still kind of coming together. As we've all learned in the past year and a half, things change every day. So things can change. The good news for OLLI is that we don't start our classes until September 13th, which is about a month after the Furman students return. So there'll be some time to kind of figure out any kinks in that system. And when we come back, it'll be all great. That's my plan. So one way Furman is going to be able to have such a normal fall is that they're requiring undergraduate students to be vaccinated. Furman, college students, Furman's a fully residential campus. They all live in the dorms, they go to parties, they do all these things, and in a lot of close contact. So they're requiring all the students to be vaccinated, which will dramatically increase the overall health and safety of our campus. Furman faculty and staff have to submit our vaccination status so that they kind of know what level that's at. And then they are asking OLLI members to also submit your vaccination status. This is not a vaccine requirement. They just kind of want to know what the count is so that they can make decisions, operational decisions on campus. So let's say there's a big uptick in the community in cases, but they know that the OLLI community is very highly vaccinated. They will not need to respond as severely as if maybe we weren't all vaccinated. So let me pull up my paper here so I can say this the right way. Those participating in OLLI events and programs. So basically, if you join OLLI this fall, you will need to either provide proof of vaccination, and I'm going to explain how we'll do that, or you'll complete a form acknowledging that you're not vaccinated in order to participate in any OLLI classes, bonus events, anything on campus. So again, it's not required. They're just trying to get a count, a percentage of vaccine across the Furman community. So the way we're going to do that is after fall registration, we're not quite ready for you to start flooding us with your vaccine cards yet. After fall registration begins, you can submit proof of vaccination in several ways. You can come by here and show me your card. You can come by here and show a staff member a picture of your vaccine card or a photocopy of your vaccine card. You can scan or photocopy your vaccine card and email it to us, and we will give you that address in the OLLI notes. You can also do it the old-fashioned way, make a photocopy of your card and put it in the mail to us. Once we've seen your vaccination card, we will put a little check mark on your registration form that we have seen that you're vaccinated. No one knows but the OLLI staff. We're not going to mark your name tags or anything like that. Instructors cannot ask about vaccination status. This is just really to get a count. Once we've seen it, if we have a copy of your card, we're going to destroy it. We'll shred it. So if there's any, private information on there, your address or whatever, that will not be saved in any way. So if you are not vaccinated, if you've chosen not to be, then there will be a form that you fill out, and it is on our website now. And it just says, that I've not been vaccinated, and that if there's a close contact with an infected person, or if you yourself get sick, that you understand you'll need to quarantine away from campus for the appropriate number of days according to the CDC. It lays all of that out. You sign that and return that in the same ways I mentioned. You can scan it and email it. We'll have copies here in the office that can be signed and left with us. So we're trying to make this easy. This is going to be a lot of information collecting. So I talked to Heidi Wright. Y'all know she's our, I call her the party girl. We plan, she does all the extra stuff. And so we might make this a party. There might be a little gathering in our parking lot and on our patio in late October where we'll have some food and drink, and you can pick up your parking stickers and take care of your vaccine opt-out form or showing us your vaccine card. We'll just make it fun. So that is a new thing for this year, but it's going to enable us to be back here in person. And the good news too is that because we'll have this information, it will help Furman make decisions that maybe will be able to keep us in class, even if things change for the rest of the community. Susan just pinged me and said, I said October, August. We'll have an event in August to collect those vaccine cards. So we do need to have that information before class starts on September 13th. So we've got plenty of time to make that happen, and appreciate all of you helping us get the information that we need. So if you have questions about that, you can start to put them in the chat, and when we finish up, we will answer those. So the brochure should be on the website, maybe even now, if not, as soon as this meeting ends. So don't all leave and go look. We've only got a couple more minutes, but it's up there, and I will, as Bob gave you a little preview about what's in it, as far as the breakdown of the Zoom and in-person and hybrid classes. So hybrid classes mean it can be on Zoom and in person at the same time. So that is a great option. And we tried some of those this summer. So we're grateful to Jim Nicholson and Jan Howell and Fred Leffert, who were our brave pioneers in learning how to do a hybrid class, and they went well. So we will do that with more classes this fall. There's a class this fall being taught by a professor who is Greek and lives in Greece. So that's not something we could do if we didn't have Zoom. So there are some neat things about Zoom that will enhance our program, and we are thrilled about that. We're also grateful to all of our volunteer instructors, as always, and to the curriculum committee for helping put all of this together. So that is, I think, registration. So let me talk about registration a little bit. Registration for the fall begins on Tuesday, August 17th at 8 a.m. for those buying course packages, and Thursday, August 19th at 8 a.m. for those buying single courses. The week prior, which is the week of August 9th, we'll hold pre-registration. This is not required, but it's a great time to go in, buy your membership, buy a package if you're going to. Make sure you remember your username and password before you're trying to get your classes. Kind of take all that housekeeping stuff and take care of that. So that will go on. You're going to get emails about that with the link to the registration site and some reminders. So just know that that is coming up, and tell your friends. Y'all are always our very best advertisers. We were down about 50% in members last year, and we loved seeing everyone who came. We missed those who couldn't come, but we're hoping to bounce back to our pre-pandemic numbers, or at least get well on our way to those pre-pandemic numbers, and you all will help us do that. I've already gotten emails from many of you asking me to add a friend or neighbor to the mailing list. Once we are printing and mailing the brochure, so once we have those in the office, you can come by and pick them up to share at places you go or with a neighbor. So thank you all for everything you do. So I'm going to bring Bob back up here beside me so that we can answer some questions. So let me just look through here and see what our questions are. Greg Peters told you, good job, Bob.
I paid him.
So yes, somebody asked, we've taken photos of our vaccination cards. Will sending the photo to OLLI be sufficient? Absolutely. We do not have to see the original. I don't have to touch the original paper. I just need to see the completed card. So yes, if you want to email me a picture of your vaccine card, that is great. Next question.
6.
Will you have training for hybrid class instructors? Absolutely. Pam Robertson and her team of instructor support committee members do a great job providing instruction and help for our instructors. So yes, if you are teaching a hybrid class, we'll have some special instruction for you. It's not hard. There's just a few little different things you need to know how to do on the computer. So yes, we'll have instruction for that. Will membership be notified what % of members are vaccinated? Yeah, we'll probably share that. Larry wants to know at what point that will happen. We'll kind of wait until we feel like we have most everybody in, And then we'll let you know kind of what our overall status is. And if you're interested, there is a dashboard on the Furman website that shows COVID cases and testing and vaccination status for faculty, staff, and students. So you can see that. We will not be adding OLLI members to that dashboard. We'll just make our own little announcements in the OLLI notes. Somebody else asks, what about SIGs, special interest groups? Yes, they will be able to start back and meet in the building starting in the fall. Heidi Wright oversees the SIGs. She is off this summer and is back in the office on August 11th. So if you are part of a special interest group, get in touch with her when she returns in August to get on the calendar. Another question, is there any sort of minimum percentage vaccinated among OLLI members for OLLI to feel confident in continuing classes? Tom, there's not been a percentage given to me by Furman. I feel like our percentage is really high. We did a poll back in April during a different town hall meeting, and we had 194 devices signed in, and 98% of the people signed in were fully vaccinated. So we may not be quite that high when we get everybody, but I still think it's probably going to be really high and probably higher than most other groups you may be a part of. That's just me thinking that. That's not a scientific evaluation, but I do think that's going to be the case. Susan Cooper asks about social distancing in classes. We've had a lot of discussions about that. Furman is not requiring distancing, but we feel like that's probably still important for us. Leave the Crabtree room out of this. The other classrooms feel pretty comfortable. When you're sitting at the tables, you're about 3 feet from the next person. So we feel like a normal capacity in those classrooms will be appropriate. In the past, we would put up to 140 people in the Crabtree room. And I don't think anyone is ready to sit in someone else's lap. And that's kind of how it felt with that many people. So we're looking at, we had a setup in there the other day that had 100 chairs, and we kind of thought about what that felt like. We're thinking about 80 people in the Crabtree room feels about right, and we can kind of spread the chairs out. There'll be room for people to really pull their chair back and kind of away if they want to be further apart. So we're sort of thinking that. We do have Don Cockrell's class this fall, and he always has a really large class. We have the Yonts Center reserved for that, and we'll again think about good spacing up there. So not official social distancing, but we are paying attention to that because, you know, we're all a little bit nervous about that. So that is the answer there. Bob, here's one for you. Are the costs the same except for the membership fee?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Okay, so, well, so someone wants to know if the costs are the same for OLLI beyond the membership fee. Do you want to answer that one?
That's a yes.
Yeah, so the individual course fee remains $55, $35 if it's a 4-week class. And then the package prices remain the same as they've been for the past several years. Will both the online and printed brochures specify how the classes are presented? Yes, that's a great question. So when you look at the course descriptions or the course calendar in the brochure, beside it'll have like the name of the course and the room number and the instructor, and then you'll see either IP for in-person, Z for Zoom, or H for hybrid. And so that will tell you what the course is. And then when you register on registration day, if you register online and the little description for the course pops up, it will give you that information as well. So hopefully that's clear. We had a lot of discussions about the best way to note that for our classes, and we think that's going to work for us. Great question from Sophia. Goodness, somebody has already sent me their shot record. So please wait on those if you can for another week or so. Let's see, Sophia, and thank you for bringing this up, Sophia. I meant to mention this earlier. Masks are not required, but there are going to be people wearing masks, and that's great. And Just because someone wears a mask does not mean they're not vaccinated. It just means they're being extra careful. And so, and I have a mask in my desk, and if someone comes in my office and they feel more comfortable with me having a mask on, I'm going to put that on. So I hope that none of our members are going to criticize or wonder why people are wearing masks. It's just something we do. I was at a meeting the other day and there were 50 people there and there was one person wearing a mask. I thought, well, she's wearing a mask today. I didn't really think about it. So that's sort of the tack we're taking here at OLLI as well. Let's see, will yoga classes that require deep breathing be held in person? We have some exercise classes that are remaining on Zoom and some that are going to be in person. So the in-person ones, I think we put 30 people in them, so you're pretty well spread out, but that's going to kind of come down to your personal decision and what you feel most comfortable doing. Let's see, I've got a question from Liz. I'm not sure what you're asking. It says, what about group which involves staff, Furman students, and OLLI members? So I might need a little bit more clarification on that question there. So someone else asked, are we encouraging masks for those who are not vaccinated? You know, I think everyone needs to make their own decision about masks and what they're comfortable with, and pay attention to guidance from their doctors and decide what's best for them. Liz Kelly, if you want to just unmute and ask me your question, that would be fine. Oh, maybe she means group exercise. So, you know, as we said, the campus is opening back up. The plan is for a nearly normal fall. I don't know for sure yet when the PAC is going to open back up for community members. It may be August 1st, it may be a little bit later. Right now, only Furman students and staff and faculty can go in there. Our family members can't go. So I'm not sure when that will happen, but as we have information, we will share it with all of you. And you can also watch the Furman website for more general information about other things on campus. They're not specifically OLLI. Somebody else is asking if they're out of town registration week. Yes, you can just mail your registration form with your check to the OLLI office. That address is on the registration form. And there's a separate registration form on the website that you can print out, or if you get your paper brochure, you can just tear it out and send it back to us. Another little bit different this year, we have a new Furman attorney, and he saw our waiver form and said, where'd you get this? This is not right. So he changed it. So it is a little bit longer than the old one. So it is not printed in the brochure. If you register online, there'll become a point where you will electronically sign the registration form. If you are going to register in person or through the mail, you'll either need to print out that waiver and send it with your registration form, or if you come in the office to register, we will have those here for you to sign. So that's a little bit of difference. And if we don't get one from you, we'll check back in with you and make sure we get it. Will we be able to change from an in-person class to a hybrid class if the class fills up and it's offered as a hybrid? So that's a good question that leads me to a little bit bigger answer. If you are registering for a hybrid class, you will make a choice at registration time. You'll see section 123A, which is in person, and section 123B, which is Zoom. And so you'll choose one or the other to register. So yes, if you wanted to register for a class and the in-person portion is full, you could put yourself on the waiting list for the in-person and then register for the hybrid, for the Zoom option. And then if we had a place for you in Zoom, in person, we could switch you. The reverse is true as well, but we do need you to register kind of for one or the other, especially because we have a lot of capacity with the Zoom portion, but in-person could fill up. So if you sign up for the in-person portion, that's what we need you to plan to do. Somebody else asked, what is the process for updating your password? So there is you can go to the registration site and there's a button you can click that says, forgot my password, and it will send you a temporary password And then you can go back in, and for some reason, it works better if you copy and paste that temporary password and put it into the sign-in portion. I don't know why it doesn't work to type it in, but copy and paste is the key. If you have any trouble with that, call the office and we're happy to walk you through that. We do that all the time. Are Furman classes still available for people out of state? Absolutely. We sort of have a gentleman's agreement with the other OLLIs that we're not actively recruiting to try to take their members away. But we had Furman alumni participating with us over Zoom all last year from all over the country, which was so much fun. We had friends and family members of you all who joined us from other places. I think we had some siblings, maybe one sibling lived in Greenville, one lived, I want to say, in Wisconsin, and one somewhere else, and they all took a class together, which was fun for them and fun for us to see. So yes, because if they want to take a Zoom class or a hybrid class, they are welcome to register with us. Jessica points out their instructions on how to reset your password on the how to register page on the website as well. Bob, do you have anything to add after all those questions that you thought of?
No, I think that everybody's covered everything, especially, with the mask and such, and that we're looking at. The only thing I would say is, we're going back to hiking classes too, which will be available.
Yeah, so we like Furman are looking forward to a nearly normal fall. One big question is, will there be coffee? We hope so. As I mentioned earlier, we have the benefit of Furman kind of getting started a month before we do. So if the Furman Dining Hall finds that they feel it's safe to have the salad bar, that everyone touches everything, and sort of the self-serve options, then we will be able to have the coffee bar as well. So stay tuned. It's still here. The water's still hot. So we are hopeful we'll be able to do that. Thanks for the kudos we're getting here. It's been a big job. We've been grateful to our return committee who helped us think about all the different things we need to think about as we bring people back into the building. A lot of what they worked on last winter sort of changed because everything changes every day, it seems. But we're grateful for their work and their thoughtfulness, which helped the staff really know all the things we need to think about and all the questions you all had as we think about coming back to something in person. I'm also grateful to Furman for their support and their understanding about how important it was for you all to be here at the Herring Center if you want to be. And so they have been great support. For those of you who don't know, we had undergraduate classes in here last year. They aren't nearly as loud as you all are. It was still kind of quiet. Those students would kind of come in, go to class, and leave. So we were glad to have them and glad we could help Furman during that time, but we're glad to get you all back. So if there aren't any other questions, I guess we're done. Thank you all for coming. I think we had 154 people signed in at the Heights, so that is fabulous. And we are glad that so many people came to join us. And I hope that means we're going to have lots and lots of people taking classes this fall. Somebody asked how many student workers we're going to have. I think we'll have 3 student workers returning. So you may know Brenna and Jenna, that rhymes, and Cassidy. So we are looking forward to having them with us in the fall. Brenna is actually here this summer with us, which has been great. So keep asking your questions. I'll stay on until everyone's logged off. And you can also call the office or email or come by. So thank you all for coming, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks
very much,
Appreciate the
Nancy and Bob.
update.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks
It's
for the
very
update.
good. Yeah.